Hello, beautiful people. So this is going to be my very first video, an attempt to upload content that will help you guys. So as you guys have heard about that, we are into Ubuntu 21.04. So by default, this Ubuntu release actually runs on Waylands session instead of XORG. And Wayland, since it is a relatively new and it's not that established and it has limitation, so it works great as long as you're doing some generic stuff like you normally do, sending emails, doing some work on Microsoft Office, and for these purposes it works absolutely great. But when you get into like doing some coding and also some screen sharing, the RDP and maybe SSH, so you actually encounter many issues, so it won't really work, and that's the compatibility issue. So what you can do here, so either you can actually, you will see a setting cog here that you can click and you can select XORG, that I'll show that later on. But there is another way that you can change the default login session to XORG always. Basically you can disable Waylands. So I'm gonna show you how it's possible. So let's quickly log into this machine. There we go. So another thing that, guys, if you do have a complaint that this screen does not maximize it, so it means you need these insert guest edition CD image. You need to click there, it will show these kind of stuff. Then you need to right click, basically open, and then run that software. After a reboot, it should be all good. Coming back to the same query, let's open terminal. So the first thing that we really need to do here, we just need to identify the default display manager. And how can we do that? In fact, if you guys cannot really see that, so let's quickly go to root directory, and inside root directory, inside etc folder, okay, and inside etc folder there will be grep x11. It looks like it hasn't found, maybe the command is not right. Grep x11. Okay, no worries. So let's just clear this one. What we will do, we will say ls minus ltr, and then we could see it's there, this directory. So what we really need to do is we just need to get into this directory, and it says x11. Let's get into there. And x11 is basically for XORG, but we need to find out the default display manager. So this is why we are inside this directory. Again, let's just clear it so that you don't really feel yourself lost. So there we need to just do ls, and there it says default display manager. Let's read default, press tab, and it should autocomplete. The very first match, it says it's GDM3 is the default display manager, right? Okay, well in that case, just come outside from this, and similarly inside the etc directory there should be a GDM3. It's there. So again, let's just clear, type ls, and there is this custom.conf file, and what we should do is just simply say gedit, but it's not compulsory that you really need to do a gedit. You could use vi or sudo, any editor basically you can use. So gedit, I like this one because it has a graphical user interface and I feel much comfortable using it, because I am not that advanced, but still I am a student. So this is why I use tools that are easy to master. So it's custom.conf. If I click on that, so here, as you guys can see here, I have these configurations, and we aren't really concerned about these. And here where it says Waylands enabled, you need to really turn to false, but for your case it would be like this, true, and then you need to add this line which will not be there. So basically you need to type default session equal to genome graphical, it's then hyphen XORG dot desktop, and it will enable the default login session to XORG by default. And it says Wayland enabled, is it true instead of it should be false. So if you do this, the VLAN will be permanently disabled unless you actually change that to true, but the default session will stay on genome XORG.desktop. Okay, so to change that thing, so what you will do here, you will enable this one. For your case, let's say true, and if we comment this line like that, and if I hit save and close basically, and quickly reboot, sorry, let's say sudo execute the same command. So now let's wait for this machine to pop up. So now it should really show me the two options, because the default login session now will be Waylands, because this is how Ubuntu 2.21.04 is developed. So I should really see that settings cog. So I basically, what did I do? I reverted it to the existing settings. That means the actual settings. So what trick did I mention? It is just to disable the default login session. Okay, let's wait for it to show up. You see that setting cog there, and it says Ubuntu on XORG, because it was my previous selection. This is why it shows that. But for your case, it says Wayland 2. So you could pick anyone, but we can pick Ubuntu XORG, Ubuntu. So I'll actually log into my Ubuntu machine. So now it shows Waylands, but because my previous selection was X11 or XORG, so this is why it is still showing that. So from setting cog, you can change that default session, but you can permanently disable Waylands too. Similarly, the same case, let's open terminal and directly jump into root etc gdm 3. Okay, so then we really need to do sudo gedit custom.conf. This is true and this is disabled. If I change it to false, it's now false, and I commit this one and I hit save. So now it will disable my Wayland permanently, but because I just to show you that which session I am currently in, let's say echo xdg session type type, it shows this x11 is dark, but there is also a command that login ctl, and then it says show session 2-p-type, and it shows XORG as a session, login session. Okay, so X11. So these are two ways to find out the default means the login session where you are actually in. Currently I'm in XORG, as I mentioned. Either you could use echo xdg session underscore type, or you can use this command. Okay, since I have disabled it, it's time to quickly log out. Let's just log out. And now it still shows that, but let's just reboot this one because it requires a restart. Let's restart this machine. And after the restart machine, you should not see this setting cog there. But sometimes it does happen in VirtualBox because it's a virtual environment. So Linux is an awesome operating system. I really like this one. Being a student of coding and this nice looking operating system, Linux, it is awesome. So it's a really nice experience. Basically, you can do whatever you would like to, and it is fully customizable because it's an open source. You see, there is no longer a setting cog there. You could simply say Ubuntu is my password. Maybe you could actually achieve that one, but because I downloaded this virtual machine from internet, if you wish that, and switch those images where I can really show that to you. But you can simply download then. Let me show that. Means how can you can get these images so that you don't really have to install virtual images. This just says Ubuntu, oh no, not to Ubuntu virtual box images, and the website would be this one. Either you can use this one, OX boxes, or there would be this one, Linux VM images. You can get actually all Linux related VM on this website. If you go there, linuxvmimages.com, so you'll get to see how many there are. So you could name it, it's there. So not the 18.01, I would say. I don't really need that one, and because it's Ubuntu 21.04, it says we need this one. And either for VMware image or for VirtualBox, you just download that, and simply you just need to add that inside the virtual hard disk, and it should really do the trick for you. So this is all about the tutorial. So how you can actually change the default login session. And because it's my very first video, I almost forgot to show you guys my default login session, but you guys should already be aware of that, what it could be. So it should be, in fact, XORG. Sorry guys, not that great. When it's X11, as you can see, X11 is XORG. So XORG is more established, and majority of the applications are still supported, and you will not encounter any issues when you are doing some coding, some like SSH. You are actually SSHing into a server, and you are having some RDP sessions. So, and many other that are limited on Wayland. So Wayland can get to the level where XORG is, but it's gonna take some time. So that's all. And if you guys like that video, let me know. And if you have any questions, you can also reach out to me. Thanks.